Hi, hello, and how are you? It's me, Jen. Welcome to White Cloud Tarot. This channel is dedicated to lighthearted guidance and spiritual development. In our readings, you're going to take what resonates and leave the rest on the table. I'm so pleased you found your way here. Hey, Cancer. So, we're going to take a look at your week coming up, and we're going to use the Star Codes Astro Oracle. Now, we've already shuffled and pre-cut for you. What is the week coming up, please? Show us what grounds. Too many. Just curious, this is ninth house. Show me what grounds Cancer this week, please. What grounds Cancer? And what is the motivation? What is the motivation for Cancer, please? And what is the most likely outcome? What is the most likely outcome? God, everybody else shuffled really nice. Cancer, what's going on? I can't wait to read. What is the first path? What does Cancer need to know about that first path, please? And what is the most likely outcome of that first path? What is the second path? What does Cancer need to know about that second path? Oh, I saw one. Where'd it go? Huh. Maybe it didn't flip. Okay, let's try again. What is that second path, please? What is that second? Thank you. And what is the most likely outcome? Oh, it did flip. What is the most likely outcome of that second path, please? What is the most likely outcome of that second path? Man, nobody else flipped out. Your guys are ready to talk. Okay, let's take a look here. So what grounds you this week, Cancer, is Neptune. It shows how we avoid gritty reality when you're having a challenging day. So whether we escape through imagination or addictions or possibly even being a martyr, you have an out for when things are yekeke. On a really nice day, Neptune is about spirituality, imagination, right? Psychic perceptions, because as all water signs tend to have this sort of ability to take the energy that's around them very easily, right? Water is just a vector, essentially. This card is talking about allowing yourself to sort of float, right? Swim through the great oceans, right, of the collective. So there's no separation between you and all that's sort of sentient in this world and the universe. So this relationship between you and the realms of the divine, of God, and of spirits is very present, and it's what grounds you this week. Okay, your motivation comes to us as Uranus, which is change. We have change all the time on this planet, and some of us are great at it, and some of us are not great at it. As a water sign, you are more able to handle change than most other signs because you are, imaginative, you are tough as heck, You are very caring and observant. So it's easy for you to sort of just see the bigger picture and to roll with life, right? But here it's talking about preparing for this huge evolutionary sort of leap, right? There's going to be some shocking circumstances that can force you to engage your gifts that you didn't even know that you had. And you are not those external attributes in transformation because you're not going to dissolve in this sort of chaotic situation, right? So think of a caterpillar, right? It's still internally the same creature once it becomes a butterfly. So your motivation this week comes to you in the form of realizing that you have the ability to sort of stay grounded within your own self, within your connection to the divine, as there's this sort of like huge thing that's going to be happening to you this week, but to know that who you are as a grounded person is going to be who you are throughout this change, and more than likely who you are once the change occurs. So let's look at your most likely outcome is Aries, which is a card about action. Interesting. Aries, it is just fire, right? It is burning bright, fiery goodness. It's your reason for being alive. It's what gives you that zeal to make change, to handle change, to do these sort of creative endeavors that life asks us to do. You're going to use wisdom here to focus all of this sort of like fire, this high intense energy to get to whatever goal it is that you want to achieve. Right? It marks the moment where winter becomes spring, right? It's about sort of that rebirth. It's about having the ability to grow, right, with that huge energy that is needed to grow anything once the land has been in a frozen uh ice chunk. Those of us who live in winter understand. While winter can be beautiful, there's not a lot of growth of the natural earth when winter is here. And so when spring comes, it is just this fury of energy of just plants and flowers and vegetables and fruits and even creatures. They have the ability to grow because of this Aries energy. So thinking about this as a miracle is just a really beautiful way to look at it, right? It is just taking something that was completely dormant and creating this beautiful life with it, right? It talks about just freeing that inner life force, trusting in the divine, trusting in the path that is given to you. So as you settle into this beautiful, watery, groundy, cancer type way of life, knowing that your motivation for change, as this change happens, you can handle it. And at the end of it, you are going to come out as a torch that has stayed lit in the water. And as you come out of it, you are going to light it up. That's what this is saying. That's huge. Okay, so what is option one? Of course, it would be passion. Love it. Can't make this stuff up, guys. All right, so option one is fifth house, passion. And passion is sort of like, this deck uses a village sort of metaphor as they go through the cards. One of them is the gate and one of them is your home and da da da. So the fifth house is in this deck, they reference a cafe, right? It's where romance hovers, right? It's where the business people go. It's where teenagers hang out, right? It's music, it's people, it's it's where people feel the most comfortable with themselves because they're just there hanging out, right? So you can take risks because you have a comfort level here. It talks about your capacity to love, right? To have romance, to have self-expression, right? To honor creative process, performances, things like that, right? Because if you think about, the traditional coffee house, you thinking about people who show up with their laptops and they're working and they're being creative and they're doing their thing. And you're thinking about, like from the show Friends when Phoebe's up there playing her guitar. And so it's just this moment of creative energy. It is people go when you go out on a first date and you're meeting someone, you go for coffee, right? That's safe, right? So it is about building relationships. It's about possible romance, possible love. This is a beautiful option for you to step into those sort of creative and loving attributes. And if you're doing that with all of this fire and passion that you have, you're going to have Virgo as a possible outcome. And Virgo is talking about seeing things from a bigger picture, not taking the individual part necessarily, but what that individual part uh, the role that that individual part plays, right? So we talk about with Virgo, when you have a wheat stalk, you have to harvest it. You have to, get off the bits of grain. You have to process them. You have to ship it. You have to buy it. You have to prep it. Then you're able to digest it, right? So it talks about having the ability to walk past a grain stalk and just go, oh yeah, that's grain, but to know that that actually gives you enriching. Fortified foods that we need in order to maintain life. It's nourishment. So, seeing the bigger picture here is something that you're going to be able to do very easily if you're stepping into those attributes. That we talk about of love, of romance, of creativity, with that fire that you are going to have through the change that's coming. Okay. Now, your second option was interesting. So, that actually, you know what? That's probably why we had cards just flipping out everywhere. No other reading I did today was like that. It was just sort of nice and calm. And I was able to go, yep, that's the card. Yep, that's the card. Your deck was sort of like jumping out. So let's take a look at option two. We have future node. I'm sorry. No, let's try again. We have North Node future and Capricorn achiever. That's huge, guys. So, option two is going to be about you remembering that this is a new beginning, right? That your fate is here, right? So, your path may start out with a bit of uncertainty, right? You have this change, it's happening, it's a little uncertain, but it's going to become solid. It's going to become clarified. It's going to become this fire that you have as you go into your future. Okay. Um, the North Node is sort of that place that calls your soul. It's where you feel comfortable. It's where you're naturally going to want to go. And Capricorn Achiever talks about having the ability, right? You have this goat. Think of it this way: you have this goat, and goats can go up any freaking cliffside, right? Like any cliffside. Stuff that like most climbers would go, "Okay, that's a challenge. Let's do that." The rest of us are going to go, "Yep, that's a mountain. Happy to move on by." Right? But when you are in Capricorn energy, you're going to look at that and go, "Please, please. What else you got?" You know what I'm saying? So this energy for you here is going to be a new beginning that you are going to hit head on and master it. And if you decide to do that, you're going to have Sagittarius expand, right? You're going to have expansion. This is interesting. I believe that this came out in another reading. So I wonder what you have else in your placement because I shuffle. I promise you, I shuffle the heckins out of these cards in between readings. And I want to say that Capricorn and Sagittarius came out together with possibly North Node. Sorry that I don't remember. It's the challenge of reading tarot. You know, you're in it when you're in it, and then when you're not in it, you try to let it go. Um, so Sagittarius expansion is about honoring your relationships, essentially. It's a reminder that your spiritual path is sort of connected to everything, right? Your humans, your pets, everything that's around you, and to lean into that. So as you have this new beginning where you're climbing mountains and being a badass, lean into your people, find your people, do it with them, and or just have them at the mountain base cheering you on, right? So as you climb this mountain, your relationships are just going to get infinitely more intimate and connected, right? And that is a very beautiful, beautiful thing. So, as I look at this with change that you have coming, right? So you have this sort of ability to be grounded. Change is coming, and you're going to be a fiery badass at the end of it. One is asking you to take a bigger picture look, or one is giving you a bigger picture look as you lean into those attributes, which aligns with your root motivation and ideal outcome. And the other is saying that you have a new beginning, where you're going to be achieving most anything you put your mind to, and your relationships are going to get infinitely more intimate. Um, yeah, well, with passion, right? Fire's Aries passion. So you're bringing a new passionate energy to your relationships here if you pick option 2 or both. Maybe you do both. I don't know. But okay, so let's take a look at the Star Seeds Oracle. Again, this has been pre-shuffled and cut for you. Can you show us a little bit of clarification or guidance, please? A little bit of clarification or guidance. Again, just jumping out. I'm having a hardest time holding on to your cards, Cancer. All right, a little bit of clarification and or guidance, please. A little bit of clarification and or guidance. This is killing me. I'll do one more shuffle because you seem chatty. I do want this one. Might as well take 4. Just for the record, nobody else got 4, Cancer. Okay, we have a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding on to that vision. And inner earth. You're going to survive this, new solutions and beginnings. You've got the love, Hadarian energy, codependency, boundaries, and baby steps. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. So this is all validation. You have newness. You have the reference that you're going to survive all the chaos here. You have new beginnings, new solutions to things. You have the card that reminds you to set boundaries up for yourself as you create these new relationships. Maybe that's what this is about. Maybe this isn't about, creating a passionate new relationship, but with the passionate relationships that you have, having that inner strength, that fire to say, "Oh, I'm sorry." The answer is no. Thank you, and moving on with it and setting up new boundaries, not being the person that people pick up the phone and call and just complain to because, quite frankly, it's draining, right? As cancers, as a water sign, you are available for those around you because you're loyal and you're caring, but sometimes that's draining. So maybe this is about setting up new boundaries, right? And the baby steps to do that, right? Taking action, following your intuition to not feel bad about it. I don't know. This seems to make sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you. And I hope that I provided a little bit of enrichment for you. And I hope that it resonates a little. So, thank you so much, Cancer, for showing up for your weekly reading. And it was a pleasure. And I hope that you have a great day. I am truly thankful for you. And I hope I have provided some enrichment in your life. If my guides and I are on point, the best ways to reflect that are to comment, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification button. Please have a wonderful day.